Jules?
Well, Tour de Monde was a little bit too noisy for us, I think, so we've decided to settle home at our Airbnb.
And mercifully we've got a beer, so
Let's
here
go
we go.
have that. Cheers. So I think some of the things that we were thinking of covering whilst we wait for our... is the beer okay?
The beer is very good. Kronenbourg.
So I think
Spot on.
one of the things we thought we might cover whilst we're waiting for delivery of our new 39FC was how we got here. And people have been asking why we decided to go for 39 and what process we went through in order to arrive there. So I don't know, I think you're probably the starting point.
Yeah, I started off with JPK 6 years ago with a JPK 1010. And that was certainly the flavour of the month in racing fleets around Europe. And I had one of those and it was very, very good. Marvellously constructed. This was a steady version with a bulb keel and alu mast, but still very capable and amazingly stable. Should always look after you.
Yep.
And Jules, we did some cruising.
We did, yeah.
We went for the 39FC as a cruising boat, but with all the benefits of a 1010, including the JPK philosophy, simple, léger, efficace. In our options, we chose performance-related items, including carbon stick, fixed keel and bulb, Nanny 38 horsepower engine, Brooks & Gatehouse H5000 instruments, and the 3-blade Gory propeller. The cruising-related items include bow thruster, windlass, electric halyard winch, hydrogenerator, lithium batteries, and heater. In my view, boats from a racing stable can make great cruisers, especially stiff boats suited to short-handed sailing. It is better to incorporate cruising characteristics into a performance boat than to try to make a cruising boat perform. It won't.
So for us, we've had some wonderful memories cruising on the 1010, and we hope to make many more on the 39FC. So we had a look. We were then going to order a 38FC at that stage and arrange a Zoom with JP and JV in December 2020. And during that Zoom call, they explained that they no longer built 38s, but that they were in the process of building the 39FC and just making the molds for it.
What else could we do? We said, please put us down on the order book, on the waiting list. And we were told it was 2.5 years.
At which point you nearly cried.
Yeah.
In fact, you probably did cry.
That seemed like a long, long time. There was a deposit to pay and then, not much heard until 9 months before delivery.
So the buying process itself is pretty straightforward with JPK. They don't seem to have any desire or need to present at any of the boat shows or trade fairs. So we had a connection with the yard, so we simply sent them an email, I think, and established a Zoom call to discuss buying the boat. And once it was decided we'd buy, we simply got a very basic contract, which we signed and paid a deposit.
Yeah. The secret is to get yourself on the waiting list.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. If you want one, do it.
With the JPK factory order book full, there is a strong second-hand market for JPKs.
The sale of my 1010 was completed within 4 weeks of it first appearing on the JPK website.
So we'll see once we get our boat and start sailing it, whether the options we've chosen were the sensible ones. But I'm relatively confident at the moment that they are good options. Certainly your carbon stick was a particularly good option.
Well, there we can come to something. I come from very much of a racing background, well, as does Jules, but I'd never had a boat with a carbon stick and I just fancied it. And so, yeah. Now, if you speak to JP, he advises you on whether an option is something you should have by saying it's interesting. If he says, oh yes, Richard, that's interesting, then you really should go for it because it's really, really good. If he says, well, that's not all that interesting on this particular model, then you probably don't need it.
Yeah.
So he told me it wasn't interesting, but I didn't take his advice. So we got a carbon stick.